guys. I'm so excited. Welcome to my first cake video on Caddy Cakes. So today we have an almond cake and we're gonna make a peach filling to put inside, and then I have over here a mascarpone frosting that we have made. So I'm gonna show you guys how to stack it and what I'm choosing to do to design it. So first I have my cake round, and I've got a little bit of my mascarpone frosting that I'm putting on the bottom just so it sticks to my turntable. Some people use tape. I've used tape before too, but I found it difficult when you lift it. It kind of gets stuck. A little bit easier than frosting, so gonna be going with the frosting. All right. Once you're done with that, you're gonna put it on your turntable. Make sure it is even on all sides, because if it's not even right here, the cake won't even have a chance to get even. So take a little bit more frosting, put it down. This will help your cake to stay in place during the frosting process, and then after too, especially if you have to transport it anywhere, you want to make sure your cake will not slide. Cause a lot of problems. Okay, so over here I've got my cake, and these have been frozen. So I'm gonna set it down. And I actually usually level them off super flat, but I actually decided not to. They're pretty flat after they came out of the oven. And so I just left them as is, because I was like, I want a little bit more height, and I'm okay that they're not exactly flat. I can work with that. So what I'm doing now is I'm just making sure it's even center of the board. And what I did before this is I got a piping bag and I put my mascarpone, just a little bit filling in here, and I'm going to create a dam around the edge. And what this will do is this will make sure that my peach filling will not seep onto the outside of the cake. This is really important at the end when you're decorating, because you don't want to be decorating, making a smooth, nice edge, and then have peach filling all of a sudden spill out. So just gonna go around the edge about a 1/2 inch from the outside. Alright, then I'm going to take some mascarpone frosting and just smooth it in just on the inside. And I'm just doing kind of a ballpark of how much. I don't have specifics, but you'll want to kind of remember about how much you put in. And you can use a measuring cup if you want to be more specific. But so that your next layer will be even with this layer. When you cut into a cake, you can check out the frosting layers, and if they aren't even, it'll be pretty obvious. So you'll want to make sure that they're about even. Okay, so now I'm gonna try and make it level. One trick that I have, you can go down here, look at it, make it even. You can also take your flat edge and put it at a 45-degree angle, and with the turntable, just go around, keep your hand steady. If you keep it steady, it'll keep it at one flat level. So it'll show you kind of where the spots are that need to be filled in, and then just go back around. Little bit of a spot right here that didn't touch the scrapers, so I know that it wasn't super even. All right, now I'm gonna look down here, make sure, do a double check. Okay, so now I have my peach compote that we made earlier. I'm just gonna add just enough to coat it. If you want more peach, go ahead, add more peach. Just make sure that you still have that dam. My dam's a little bit covered. Blend it in a little bit, so I might need to make the dam a little bit bigger. But if you like a lot of filling, you like a lot of peach, go for it. Add a ton. Just make sure you have that dam. If I have extra compote, I think I'm going to pour some on top of each piece. I think that'll be really good. So just a thin dam there, a little thinner than last time. So I don't want it too thick. It smells so good. I wish I could send you this smell. I love fresh peaches. We like to go over to the farms over on the other side of the mountains when we go camping and buy a huge box of peaches. You can make like several pies, couple cakes, lots of things out of it. All right, so check that out. Make sure it's still even. Got one more spot I'm gonna fill just right here. All right, looks good. Now we're gonna get our second cake layer. Right over here. Stick it right on top. Okay, this time it's really important to look on the side of it and make sure that it is flat. And this is where you can kind of help it to not be lopsided. You can also take, I don't have it with me, but a straight edge and put along it just to make sure that it is all flat. All right, so now I'm gonna do the exact same thing just on this layer. All right, so that layer is done. I'm going to get my third cake round. And this one's gonna be a little bit different. It's the top, so I'm going to flip it upside down. This will help make sure it's super flat on top. Just gently line it up again. Make sure it'll be even. Looking good. All right. Perfect. So now I'm going to take, and I'm going to do what's called a crumb coat. So this is really important for decorating. Your cake should still be slightly cold. If you need to put it back in the freezer for maybe 5-10 minutes, you can do that if you think it'll help you with the crumb coat. It's still a little cold, so I'm going to leave it as that. But so the crumb coat's important because it'll help make sure your final product will not have crumbs on the outside layer. That's never fun. Hard to dig out crumbs. So I'm gonna take my piping bag still, and I'm just gonna go around and fill in just these areas. It's just easier with your piping bag, especially if I still have some left in here. Don't have too much left, so probably won't be able to do much of that, but use it all up. Okay, and I'm out of that one. So what I'm gonna do now is just do a really thin layer of this frosting all over my cake. Just really thin. And then once that is done, I'll stick it back in the freezer and do the final outside. So I just pulled out the cake out of the freezer. It was in there for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna frost it now, put it frosting all over it, and then I'll show you guys. But you can do it kind of a couple different ways. You can use a spoon, or you can use one of these. This one's a little thicker, as you can see in this one. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to twirl the turntable. I'm just going to place it very delicately along it, and it will create a pattern. You guys will see. So if you use a thicker, it'll make the pattern a little bit thicker. If you use a thinner one, it'll make it just a little bit thinner. So you'll see when I do it, it'll make more sense. You can also just use a spoon. That's fine. But this is one of my favorite ways to decorate a cake, so take a look. Alright, so as you can see, sorry, keeping you guys down there for right now, I have done the top and the bottom, just put lots of frosting on it. Kind of looks fun, but I didn't do a pattern or anything. Just put a ton of frosting all over it. Now I'm going to, so you see I have my top, I'm going to take my scraper and I'm going to put it at a 45-degree angle and go just across the top like that. Keep my hands steady. And this will help me, just like I did with the inside layers, help me to make sure that the top is even. So I can go back and fill in the places that the scraper did not touch, because those are the places that are not even. Try again. Just keep going around. So, pretty even now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scraper again and I'm just going to lay it like this, push down, and just rotate the table. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to go slightly inward each time it goes around to create a wave-like design. So, top is done. That part really isn't too complicated, which is super nice. The only thing you really have to make sure is that you don't push too hard and see the cake. If you do happen to do that, I've done it lots of times, it's easy to fix. Just get a little bit of frosting, put it on the spot, and just very delicately put it down, go over, and very carefully pick it up. You usually can't even tell that it happened. You just want to make sure you don't have any blunt edges with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing to the side. So I am going to go around and smooth just the top edge just a little bit. Sorry guys, just the top edge just a little bit because it kind of pushed out when I did the top. So I'm going just around like that to make sure I don't have too much excess right there. So this part is pretty simple. I wanted to start with this design. One, this frosting is great for it because it's not a super thick frosting, so you actually can't get it like too crisp and smooth like some of my other designs. So this one is perfect for it. It's also pretty beginning, easy level. If you don't have a turntable, you can totally just put it on a plate and spin it yourself. Just again, make sure there are no blunt edges, so you don't want to push it in and then go. Just make it real delicate. As delicate as you can. So, but looking good so far. Now we're going to do the bottom half. Right, so there you have it. It's not perfect, but looks pretty dang good. So, can't go too wrong with that design. You can always go back, fix any spots you want to. Smooth it, try again if you want to. More practice. Sometimes I even like to try and smooth it first all the way around, get as perfect as I can, just for extra practice while I have the cake and frosting here, and then I'll do another design on it. So it's always good practice to do. Let your creativity come out. This is my favorite part because you can really do whatever you want. It's all yours now. Whatever you decide to do. Alright, and for my very last thing that I'm going to do to this cake, you could totally leave it like this. It's fine, but I want to add just a little decoration on top. So, got a piping bag filled with some of my frosting. I have a large star tip. So, this is pretty fun. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to go around, not too close to the edge, just like that. Then I'm going to go on the direct opposite end and do it again. Then I'm going to turn it. This helps to make sure that they're even in the end. But you don't want them too close to the edge. They could fall. It's just better just to have them inward just a little bit. Then I'm just going in the center of what I already have. But again, make this your own. Like, do what you want to do with it. That's my favorite thing about cakes. Express yourself. You can do whatever you want to do. But, so now, while I'm breaking things, got my peach rings. These were my favorite as kids. So, I'm gonna just stick it right in, because it's a peach cake. It's a little bit soft of a frosting, so you want to make sure you really push it in. Make sure it's stable. If you do need to thicken it and you're worried it is a little bit too thin, you totally can sift some more powdered sugar and mix in with it. It's a good idea too. Just make sure it's a little thicker. Might do that next time just because I think they're okay, but I don't know. Might not last super long. These are a little bit heavier of candies. So, got that. And I also have a little bit of toasted almonds. There you go. Now you can see them. It's an almond cake, so I just want people to know it's almonds in there. So I like to put, if you have any nut products, any nut, anything in there, I like to put that on the outside of the cake so it's pretty obvious. If there's nuts on the outside, there's nuts on the inside. So anyone who can't have nuts, it's good for them to know. So just gonna sprinkle it on top. You could also just sprinkle these on the piped rounds that you have and then put the peach rings on it, whatever you want to do. You can put them on the side and press them up against the bottom. I like to do that on cakes, so I'm just making sure they're even, getting the edges a little bit, but trying to make sure they don't fall down.